Hello, pre-intermediate students. Any clues of what we are going to study today? I'm going to help you. A crocodile is big, but a rhino is bigger. What is our topic today? Comparatives. Are you ready? Let's go. We have here a chart that summarizes the rules to make comparatives with adjectives in English. The first and most important characteristic we need to pay attention to when we are making comparatives with adjectives is the difference between two groups: one-syllable adjectives and adjectives that have two or more syllables. Okay, I know you're asking yourself, how am I going to know if an adjective has one or more syllables? Actually, it's very different from Portuguese. If you want to know a little bit more about that, and I think you should, you go to our material de consulta, and I have included 3 links. One link is in English, very good link. She gives very good explanations. You can activate the English subtitles and pay attention to the explanation, to the techniques she teaches, and she also offers some exercises you can do to practice your understanding. If you prefer, I also included 2 videos in Portuguese. Very good explanations too. Take a look, decide which one is best for you, and understand how to separate syllables, how to count and how to separate syllables in English, okay? For now, we can concentrate on a very simple explanation. We have short adjectives and long adjectives, okay? The first group we are going to analyze is actually divided in 3 parts. The first part is the one-syllable adjectives. You see here, short, tall, cheap, and new. And look at the comparatives: shorter, taller, cheaper, and newer. You probably noticed that the rule here is to include ER at the end of the word. We had 2 examples in the text you read in roteiro de atividade. Look, the North Pole is colder than the South Pole, and carrots are sweeter than tomatoes. The second part of this first group is consisted of these words here. For example, hot and thin. They are short words, but they have something very specific. Have you noticed? They are one-syllable words that end in VC, vowel consonant. O-T-I-N, vowel consonant. And then what happens to the comparative? Hotter, thinner. Have you noticed? We double the last consonant, and then we include ER. There was an example in the text too. Look here. The White House is bigger than Buckingham Palace. The last part of the first group is this one: ugly, heavy, which are actually 2-syllable adjectives. Yes, they are, but they end in consonant and Y, and that's why they belong to the first group. If you pay attention here, ugly, uglier, heavy, heavier, you are going to notice that what we do with these kind of adjectives is that we drop the Y and then we include IER. There were 2 examples in the text. A proton is heavier than an electron, and oranges are healthier than strawberries. This is the first group, the group where we include suffixes at the end of the word. Actually, at the end of the adjective, right? The second group is consisted of adjectives that have 2 or more syllables, except the ones that end in consonant and Y. And then, if you pay attention here, what we do is that we include more and the adjective. There was an example in the text too. Female mosquitoes are more dangerous than male mosquitoes. You have probably noticed that when we are making comparisons, we also use the word than, right? And there you go. We have this chart that summarizes the rules and reminds us that the word better and worse are irregular comparatives. Better is the comparative of the word good, and worse is the comparative of the word bad. There was an example in the text as well. In judo, a green belt is better than a blue belt. Okay, let's try to practice a little bit using these rules. I have here two different kinds of car, a Beetle and a limo. American people say limo instead of limousine, okay? It's more informal. If you had to compare a Beetle and a limousine, how would you use these adjectives here? In my opinion, a Beetle is older than a limo. But a limo is more beautiful than a Beetle. A limo is definitely larger than a Beetle, and then consequently, a Beetle is smaller and uglier. If I think that a limo is more beautiful, the Beetle is uglier than a limo. In terms of comfort, a limo is more comfortable than a Beetle, right? I don't know if a limo is faster or slower than a Beetle, but it is definitely more expensive. A Beetle is cheaper than a limo, right? But on the other hand, if you think about driving around town, a Beetle would be better to drive than a limo, especially in Rio de Janeiro where the traffic is horrible. Okay? So, now that we have practiced like this, it's a good idea for you to use the speaking suggestions in our roteiro de estudo to put the comparatives into practice. Use the suggestions here of things you can compare. Remember to use because explaining or justifying your opinion is a great way of expanding your oral practice, okay? And you have also learned different words that you can put in your oral production to make it better. So whenever possible, continue your sentences with because and try to make more complex sentences using but, although, so, and any other vocabulary or grammar that we have studied before. The idea of these speaking suggestions is that you boost your oral skills, even though we are studying remotely. Well, now go back to our roteiro, do the rest of the exercises, try the speaking suggestions, but remember to explore the resources in our learning platform. See you next time. Bye-bye.